911, what's the address of the emergency?
Hi, it's 6 Circle Court in West Valley City. Delta 5-2, copy of control assist.
Delta 5-2, go ahead.
Respond to 7 Circle to assist control on the missing family. Susan and Josh Powell, last name.
Welcome to the 1088 podcast, episode 5 of the Escape Safe season, the disappearance into Susan Cox Powell. Thank you for tuning in, listening from wherever you are. I greatly appreciate it. We're going to begin today's episode by diving into some questions and statements that some listeners have posted. One of them in regards to the episode 4 that a listener sent in regards to the behaviorisms of Josh on the day that he was cooking and cleaning and being comforting towards Susan. That was the last episode, right? And their statement was that this was a way, since Josh was controlling, this was Josh's way to control the narrative that day to execute his plan. If Susan would have been cooking dinner, he wouldn't have been able to poison her, if that's, was the case. Another great statement from the same listener was this: maybe Josh was highly stressed from the anticipated events that were going to be coming up, right? And carrying out his plan. And so because of this high stress, he chose to cook and be comforting and nice to kind of help keep himself calm, right? While not realizing that his actions were questionable and out of character. So that's pretty good. I really like those assessments there. It was really good. Another listener had mentioned that something that had been on her mind was that, and that she has feared over the years, was that Josh had disposed of Susan's remains in the industrial complex area of Salt Lake City, where there was an O'Reilly distribution center being built at that time. Her thoughts was that he may have disposed of her, buried her, prior to them pouring concrete. Ugh, that was awful to even think about. And let's just hope that that's not the case. Anyways, that is pretty much about it that I can recall from the stuff that people wanted to share. If you do, please leave comments. Send me an email, info@ellismaxwell.com, or leave the comments on the social networking site that you're on, whatnot. And I'll see them, hopefully, and we can reply to them. All right, let's kick off this episode. And we're basically going back to where we left off in episode 4. Kind of blah, blah, blah. I can't really talk today, Jesus. Anyways, we're picking up where we left off with episode 4, December 11th, 2009, day 5 of the investigation. And what we're going to go into here is just what took place the rest of that day. And we're going to start off with the tip calls. So there was a tip call that was received from one of Susan's coworkers, and this person had a conversation with Susan about a year prior, so back in 2008. This employee and Susan, they worked opposite shifts, so they weren't working together every day, every shift, but they would pass each other at times. And according to this tipster, they said they were not very close to Susan at all. But Susan still confided in them with information about Josh and her relationship with, her relationship with Josh. And she had shared with this coworker that Josh would manipulate her, He was very controlling and he was very crazy. He didn't elaborate on that. She told him that Josh knows every move that she's going to make and every penny that she ever spends. And she also expressed to this tipster, this coworker, that she wanted a divorce. Now, we know through listening to friends, families, and other people we've spoken to that was the case. We knew that she was contemplating divorce, and we kind of already knew these things. But for her to share this information with this coworker a year prior, them working opposite shifts, them not being very close, and for this person to call in and provide us with this information, it just adds to the list. It adds to the list of this piling list of people, whether it's coworkers, family, friends, acquaintances. Here's another one, all right? So we know about the Mary Kay. We talked about Mary Kay and how she kind of got into that. And a person that called in and filed a tip on this day 16 years ago was somebody with Mary Kay. And they referenced Susan as the lady who was scared of her husband. So when they called in this tip call to the police department, that's how they referenced her. They stated, and this validates what we had already spoken about and what we had heard, that Susan had her product delivered to a different address. And she also shared some more information with us, that Susan had used 2 to 3 different payment methods to pay for this starter kit, so that it wouldn't look like, one big purchase. Kind of spread it out. She also mentioned that during the second meeting that they had, Susan had told the ladies that she had to tell her husband, Josh, that she was helping some friends. She had a friend that needed some help, and that's why she had to leave the house. So she didn't want to or couldn't even tell Josh where she was going. And I think, and from what I understand, is that basically Susan would lie to Josh in this situation, because she just didn't want to deal with it. I think she had reached a point in her life where she was just like done, and she's like, hey, I'm going to do what I want to do. And I think that's where this whole Mary Kay thing comes in, and this whole last year, she had a lot of growth going on within herself, and kind of stepping away from the controllingness of Josh. And so I think, she just wanted to save argument, but and not have to deal with Josh's bullshit. But I do want to say this, everything up to date that we've talked about with Susan and what we've heard from others, and how controlling Josh is, and micromanaging her, telling her what she can and can't do, what she can spend money on, what she can't spend money on, forcing her to ride a bike to work. All of this stuff, this is completely 100% unhealthy. These are unhealthy practices for relationships. Don't you agree? Listen, I get it. There are some people out there that like to live that way. They like to have somebody have control over them, keep them in line, keep them on a straight road, But I don't know. In this particular case, with Susan and Josh, it seems a little excessive, in my opinion, and I don't think it's healthy. I completely understand where she was wanting to get a divorce, and it's just unfortunate that that didn't come sooner for her and those children. But it's so wild, because she wants to keep her relationship together, but then she wants some more freedom. But and here she is trying to control. Well, she's trying to change somebody. She's trying to change Josh, where she's not in the position. She doesn't have the control. He does. Right? I mean, it's just really, really, really wild. This right here, her case in this conversation that we're in right now, I think it's a tell-all, right? Like hey, if you're in a relationship and it is toxic and it's unstable and it's not serving you well and you have fears and you're not able to live and you're not able to even be you. You have to be this other person that this person wants you to be. That shit is not healthy, man. And if you have kids and these kids are exposed to this type of relationship, they're going to pick up on this. And then they're going to carry that into their relationship. And so I would say that not healthy, not good, and to find peace, get away, man, escape. You can't. The thing is, we can't change people. People are who they are, in my opinion. Now, I get it. Yes, some people can change. Some people can change for the better. I agree, they can, but case by case situation, I guess. All right. Another tip that came in. This one really kind of took up a little bit of my time. I handled it myself, and we're going to be coming back and revisiting this particular individual that calls on this day with this tip. It's an unidentified female caller, and she calls in to report that she was having an affair with Josh. Does anybody believe that Josh would be having an affair with anyone? Maybe, maybe not. You never say never, right? But when I did hear this from this caller, I thought to myself, okay, this is interesting, and there might be some validity with this. Let's see what she has to say, right? She didn't know he was married, is what she was telling me. And she also told me that Josh had told her that he was married at a time, but his wife died of cancer. Okay. I'm hanging in. I'm open-minded. What else do you have? Well, they met at a comedy club. I don't know. I don't know about Josh going to a comedy club, but maybe, right? All right. So what's next? I need to I need to figure out who this caller is. I need to validate this information. Is this somebody that's just calling in because they want attention? Is this somebody that's calling in because it's a legitimate tip? Or is this somebody calling in to, what is the reasons behind this? Okay, great, unidentified female caller. Thanks for this information. Tell me, what is the phone number that you have for Josh? You say that you've called him, you've texted him. What is the phone number? She couldn't give me the phone number. Or she didn't want to give me the phone number. But why would you call and give me this tip, but then not give me his phone number? And so it kind of was pressing her a little bit in regards to this. It's like, hey, if you want me to believe anything you're sharing with me, then you need to give me some more information. Like, I need to know that you know him. What's his phone number? And she got pissed. She really got upset. She became defensive and kind of tried to flip the script, saying I didn't believe her and, all this other nonsense. And it kind of made it really difficult. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, if you're calling in and you're going to offer a tip and it's legit, then come on, I want it all. You can't just give me little tidbits of stuff that really, come on. So anyways, that conversation came to a quick end with her and it really didn't go anywhere. I remember seeing if I think there were some patrol officers that I sent out to an address. I found an address with this phone number and the name that she gave me, stuff like that. I kind of did a little bit of workup on them, and sent some patrol out to kind of check on this person and verify, but nothing came of it. We couldn't identify them or locate them. So, yeah. All right. Oh man. Okay, here we go, man. The investigation into Susan Cox Powell and dealing with Joshua Powell. So on this day, December 11th, 16 years ago, in 2009, it was rolling into the afternoon. We're at around 3 p.m. And here we go, cat and mouse game. Oh my hell. So we get a GPS alert because, as you know, we have trackers on Josh's minivan, right? Well, he leaves he leaves his home and he's mobile, and guess where he's driving to? He's driving west on Interstate 80 towards Wendover, Nevada. What, where, why okay, this is good, right? This is good. He's gonna revisit, maybe he's revisiting where he disposed of Susan. So this is good. And so he goes mobile, and of course that activates everybody. You know, there's messages being sent, phone calls being made. Hey, Josh is on the move. He's he's westbound Interstate 80 towards Wendover, Nevada. And so we're monitoring his movements. We have people that are mobile, kind of heading that direction. And this guy ends up out at Wendover, Nevada. Now, that is roughly about an hour, 15-minute drive from his residence to there. 2.5 hour round trip. And anyways, he gets out there to this area. And I want to say it was like a Smith's parking lot type thing. And, but also nearby the Smith's parking lot is a gentleman's club, if I remember right across the street. And, okay, well, we know he's not at the gentleman's club because he has the two boys with him. So he has the boys with him. And so we're not really too worried about him there, but we're trying to figure out what's going on. And he literally sits in this area for about 30 minutes. No idea. At this point, we don't have cops out there yet. And so not sure what he's doing. Did he go to Smith's in Wendover, Nevada to go do some grocery shopping? Nah, I don't think so. He's just playing some games, right? That's my opinion. So, but we don't know. We don't know exactly what's going on. But he sits in this parking lot. Now he leaves Wendover, Nevada. So like I said, he sits there 30 minutes, and then now he's back on the freeway. He's heading back westbound, coming home, like as if he's coming home, right? And comes up to exit 49. This is Clive, Utah. And I have an aerial, or a map. I have a map and aerials of this stuff, and we can show those up on the video. And so he gets off of here, and he heads towards a gravel pit area. So you get off, and you head north, and it's like this gravel pit area. There's piles of gravel, and it's kind of some open space. Josh sat in this area for 2 hours. 2 hours. He hung out in this area. It's wild. a lot of us were scratching our head wondering what he was doing, but it did give us time to round up a cadaver dog, get people in position so that we could go into that area and search that area once he left. And so eventually that's what we did. And so he leaves after 2 hours, and we kind of all pile up in there. We searched the area. We could see his foot impressions in the snow. We could see the tire impressions in the snow. We could see where he had went and walked, even the kids as well. And so, so we search all of it, nothing, absolutely nothing. Nothing of evidentiary value at all was discovered. And so from there, he's now heading westbound. We have officers that are, or detectives that are kind of following at some distance, and we pull out of there. Now, the one thing that he was doing on his way out to Wendover, and I think earlier I said that we didn't have cops out there, but we did have cops out there, and he never even went into the grocery store. He just sat in the minivan. He just sat in the minivan the entire time. Not 30 minutes he was out there. And then he turned around, got on the freeway, and came back. So, but is what he was doing on his way out to Wendover and then on his way back, and him getting off at Clive, Utah, and then getting back on the freeway. And the other things that he was doing on the way out and after he left Clive, Utah, was he would get off of exits and then get back on the freeway. He would get off at rest areas. He wouldn't get out and stop and go anywhere, but he would get out, get off the freeway, go into a rest area, and then get back on the freeway and drive. He would, speed up, slow down. Is what this is called is cleaning himself. Okay, this is a tactic of cleaning himself. He's driving. Right? That's day 5. He has this minivan. And we had his minivan before he picked it up, so he's clearly suspecting that we put a tracker or GPS tracker on his van. And so what I'm thinking. I think a lot of us was thinking this after the fact, was that he's just testing us. He's just seeing if he can catch us following him or hem us up. He's just seeing if he wants to validate that there's a tracker on his vehicle. That's what I think. There was no other reason for him to be doing what he was doing that particular day, other than to try to hem us up. So let's talk about cleaning ourselves. I think this is a really good discussion point as far as criminals do it, but we also need to be doing it as well for these reasons. So, for example, when I was in police work, I would traditionally, if I was thinking about it, or if I got hemmed up in, maybe I had it doesn't matter. But at times I would drive different routes home from work. If I was leaving the police department, I may not take the same route home every day. You always want to be aware of your surroundings as you're driving, looking in your rear, checking your rear view mirror, and making sure that you don't have somebody tailing you and following you. I think that's very, very important. So I would do that in police work. Why would somebody else want to do it? Not Josh, not somebody that's committed a heinous crime, but why would somebody else want to be aware? And the reason is if they are, maybe they've got a crazy ex that is stalking them, maybe they have an estranged boyfriend that they broke it off with, but they weren't, or I said boyfriend, I mean, it could be girlfriend too, right? But you have a partner that you broke up with, but they weren't happy with it, and maybe it was a toxic relationship, or maybe you just feel like you have there's somebody that's stalking you. Maybe somebody maybe where you work, somebody that comes in all the time that's kind of creepy. I don't know. But the point is this, is if you feel like you're in danger, somebody's stalking you, somebody's following you, whether if it's an ex or whatever, you just want to always be aware, man. Always be checking that rear view mirror as you're driving. I'm not saying be crazy paranoid, by no means. No, I'm just saying casually be aware. Just be aware, right? I mean, you're rolling into, say, your neighborhood. You're going home and it's dark and maybe you've had some problems with an ex or whatnot, and you kind of maybe fear for your safety. Check, make sure the vehicles are, that are parked on the street there's not anything abnormal. As you're driving through, check your neighbor's yard, check your yard. You might want to even drive past your residence and check out your yard, make sure there's nobody hidden in the bushes or whatnot. These are just all kind of just safety, just to kind of be a step ahead to try to protect yourself. A good example, and it's a case that we'll visit down the road, but a friend of mine, she was murdered in broad daylight, man. She went to the schools to pick up her kids from school, and this boyfriend that she broke it off with, that couldn't handle it, literally rolls up and freaking guns her down and takes out one of her kids. So it's awful. It's awful. So it's good to be aware. Now, to bring this day to a close on December 11th, during a visit at Susan's employer, there was a couple of detectives that were over there visiting, following up on some stuff. We learned on today's date, December 11th, 2009, that Susan had an active safe deposit box. Yeah. Super cool, but not that cool because we can't get into it unless we have search warrant or subpoena. And so that's what's going to happen next with that safe deposit box, so that we can get in there and access it and see what's in there. We wrap up on December 11th. We go into December 12th. It's a Saturday. Day 6, not a whole lot happens on through the weekends, right? Investigations isn't really working, and they're on call. Patrol, they're pretty much taking tips, and that's what we're going to talk about right now, some tip calls that came in. Some of them are informative, and some of them are kind of funny. I've got 3. So one of them that comes in from one of Susan's best friends. Now, we've talked to Susan's best friend. And we're going to interview her best friend. But she actually calls in to report that she suspected Josh's dad as being responsible. What? That's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty wild to come up with that pretty quick. Well, why? Why is that? Well, Susan had shared with her that Susan's dad had tried to kiss her several times over the years. Yeah. Josh's dad, Steve, tried to kiss Susan several times over the years. Wow. He also mailed her pornography in the past. Yeah. It's not wild. Could you imagine? Like having oh my, I can't even say it. But anyways, that's how wild this is. Susan wouldn't even say his name. She would not say Steve's name because she just despised him so much. Yeah, it's pretty wild. A matter of fact, the tipster, the best friend that called in, even said she didn't even know his name because Susan never, ever even said his name. So there you go. Another tip that came in was, this is a good one. This is the one that kind of making me laugh. So the tipster calls in to report that he's a criminal himself. Yeah, well, thanks, criminal. Thanks for calling us. What kind of tips do you have for us? Well, while locked up, he learned a lot from other criminals. Good. I would imagine most criminals are going to learn from other criminals while locked up. That's a given. And he offered his dog to assist because his dog is much better than the fucking German shepherds that we are using. That was his opinion. Oh, wait, and also his opinion was that the husband did it. What? Come on, man. Why are you wasting our time calling in, providing this nonsense? But hey, you know what? Everybody's got a voice and we have a right to express our voice. So thank you for the tip. Thank you much. Appreciate it. A colleague of Susan's had called, and they just kind of gave us just a little tipster, just one little tip, that he had given Susan a ride home the winter of 2008 because Josh refused to come get her. That was the only thing that he called in to offer us. Well, that's cool. Yeah, we interviewed that person. We interviewed a lot of people. We interviewed and eliminated a lot of possible suspects. Because you just never know. You just never know. You can't be deadlocked on just one like Joshua. But yeah, that's pretty wild, isn't it? That somebody would be impacted like this caller being like, man, really, your husband won't come get you? I mean, how else are you supposed to get home from work? And then he calls us a year later to share that with us. Pretty wild, man. Susan touched a lot of people's hearts. She came across a lot of people. It's pretty awesome. All right, so let's go into Sunday, December 13th. Now, this day was actually it was a busy day. We received a tip call that Susan was at a Dairy Queen in Manhattan, Kansas. Has anybody ever been to Manhattan, Kansas? It's a small little quiet town. It's quite small from what I remember. Anyways, we don't believe she was out in Manhattan on December 12th. Now, on this day, Sunday, I also sat down and had my first formal interview with Susan's dad, Mr. Cox. Great guy, and I still chat with him periodically. But you know, the one thing I think I did not share with y'all early on was that I remember it was probably day 3, and I told Mr. Cox that, hey man, I'm gonna have him in jail soon. Yeah, I had to go back and apologize to Mr. Cox before that, and it sucked. It felt bad. It was awful. I felt awful. Yeah, I really thought that, you know, we'd be able to put him in jail after that day 1, day 2, and where we were at, but that wasn't the case. But anyways, sitting down with Mr. Cox, he stated that they would visit. He would see his daughter probably every 3 to 6 months. And I kind of asked him his take and what his perception was of Josh, and to tell me a little bit about Josh and what his thoughts were. And this is what he shared with me. He told me that he was very manipulative. He was very controlling, and that he controlled not only Susan's income, but also her time. Key right here. He says the relationship was this way from the very beginning. Yeah. Now, if you hear Susan's talk, you know, she says that you know, Josh had changed. But according to Mr. Cox, it's been like this from the beginning. With all these concerns that he had for Susan's well-being and her safety, he bought her a mobile phone and he paid for the service. And we already knew that. We already kind of talked about that. Now, that's just, nobody should live under that type of a thumb, in my opinion. I mean, the parent is buying the adult daughter a phone and paying for the phone service because of how controlling and manipulative and micromanaging her husband is. Awful, awful, awful. He reports that he's a know-it-all. He researches everything beyond what is reasonable, and he does this so that he can control the conversation. That's kind of how he described it. He spent the majority of his free time on his computer. No idea what he was doing on his computer. It's not like these days we have content creators. Josh wasn't a content creator. He wasn't on there. Like, why was he on the internet? But he was always online. Describes him as being arrogant, passive-aggressive, and that he also enjoys watching crime TV shows. And we'll kind of touch on some of that. It said that this is another big red flag, man. He would degrade and belittle Susan all the time. And he would do it in front of the kids, more so when he was on the phone with his dad, Steve. That's not healthy, man. That's not healthy. Kids are sponges, especially when we're talking toddlers and youngsters. They're sponges. They pick up on this. And then you know what happens? They start treating the mom that way, or the other parent, because the other parent is doing it. So then they think it's okay. So then they start doing it. I've seen this. I've seen this so many times. It's awful. It's disgusting. He would force Susan to ride a bike to work. We knew that. And then also shared with us how he would have Susan harvest a garden to save money from going to the grocery store. Now, in talking with Mr. Cox, he suspected that Josh had to have poisoned or heavily medicated Susan in order for him to take control over her and do anything with her. He stated that there's no way, he didn't believe for a minute that he would be able to take Susan at her healthiest and at her best. And so he would have to definitely poison her or heavily medicate her. He stated that Josh was very lazy, and that he was lazy and he didn't like to exert a whole lot of energy. And so therefore he believed that Susan was close by. He didn't believe for a minute that Josh would have went too far with Susan or exerted, exert a lot of energy to dispose of her remains. And nearby, he mentioned that Josh was in real estate, so he had some concerns that maybe he had access to a home that he could have hidden Susan in or put Susan in, stuff like that. Some really, really good ideas. He brought up some really good ideas with us when we met with him. And I agree with Susan's dad. I don't think Josh would go too far. I really don't. I don't think anybody would really go too far with a body in their vehicle driving late at night. That's pretty risky. We know that he left at just after midnight, around 1:30 in the morning. So what vehicles are out and about at that time of the day? Cops, criminals, and us, I used to work graveyards, us graveyard working people. And so, yeah, that's pretty risky to be going out driving around with a body that time. And then for a long distance. I mean, that even just kind of, in my opinion, just kind of elevates the risk of getting pulled over and discovered even more the farther that you're going to be driving. Not only driving through the city of West Valley City into a county where you're going to have county sheriff patrolling that area, and then you get on the interstate, now you're going to have state police, highway patrol, right? So a lot of risk. So I agree. I don't think he went far. But the one thing is Josh was, to me, and what I felt and what I saw, it seemed like he was pretty confident. Seemed like he was confident, and I'm talking about when I was interviewing Josh. the first time and the second time. But it kind of felt like he was confident that we weren't going to find her. He disposed of her in a way that we're never going to find her, or that we would never be able to prove that he was responsible, or both. So one or the other. Yeah. So another thing that came up when I was talking with Mr. Cox, and this is all hearsay. Later, we were able to validate it with some interviews, and that is this. So a year prior, in 2008, man, we keep going back to 2008, and it's crazy. And we're only day 5 into this, and we're going to go back to 2008 many, many, many times. So, but 2008 Christmas, Josh and Susan was at a work party for Susan, and some people had shared some statements with Mr. Cox and some family friends, and so they were just kind of passing that on to me. He was passing that on to me during the interview, and these are the statements. Chilling. You ready? Quote, "He has learned how to get away with murder and never be caught." That's what Josh had said to somebody else that works with Susan at this Christmas party. Here's another one. Josh made a statement about how there were so many mine shafts in the West Desert that it would be a perfect place to hide a body because no one would find it. Yeah, so those are the those statements that when we picked up on those, those are critical. But we need to find the people that provided us this, had this information, and we eventually do. We locate them, we interview them, and we get it firsthand from them and verify that they did hear Josh say these things. And that's just crazy. That's just so crazy that, was this guy premeditating this for over a year? And then to sit down with Mr. Cox and hear him share this information with me and see his facial expressions, and I have kids as well, and man, I cannot imagine. I mean, having a daughter or a son or a child, an adult kid that is in a toxic relationship that is completely unhealthy, that's got to be the most. That's just got to be the worst. That's got to be the worst nightmare for a parent, because what can we do to help them? I mean, they're an adult. They're in this relationship. Right? They entered into this relationship loving this person immensely, and they're wanting to carry on a life with them. But on the outside, we're seeing these controlling behaviors and the manipulation, the gaslighting. We're seeing this all going on, and maybe it's affecting our loved one, our child, our kid, our adult kid that's in this relationship. And now what are you going to do? I mean, we're limited, right? I mean, this is my suggestion. This is my suggestion to any parents out there that have adult kids that are in a toxic relationship that is not healthy at all. The best thing that you can do, I think, in my opinion, is to just let them know, hey, I'm here for you. I'm here for you when you're ready. Now, I'm here for you if we want to add, hey, we want to talk about details. That's kind of a case-by-case situation, right? Because if we go in and we talk to our kid about, hey, we see this, we see that, we see that, they might get upset with you and be like, you know what, I'm out. Don't you ever talk to me again. This is my partner. Don't you talk. No. I mean, it can create problems with your relationship with your kid, with your adult kid, man. So it's really tough, man. It's really tough. But the one thing I think that is important is we just make sure we let them know, hey, I'm here for you when you're ready. Because at the end of the day, this is the thing. Somebody that's in that relationship, they have to want out. They have to want out, and they have to want to get out in order to be helped. And Susan's case here, she wanted out. She was conflicting. She was conflicted. She wanted out, but then she wanted to save her marriage. Why? For the benefit of the kids, for the benefit of their religion, for their values, stuff like this. No, it's either you're in or you're out. If you're in between, it's going to make it tough. It's going to make it tough. We can't change people. People are who they are. And I think also if you're listening and you're in one of these toxic relationships and you are the one that's being abused, listen to those around you, man. Listen to those around you, what they're seeing, because you may not be seeing what they're seeing. So listen to them and, but again, do you want to listen? Is it just one person? You might not want to just listen to the one person, but if you got multiple people that are saying things, then you might want to listen to them. If they're like, hey, you need to get out. I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. But I mean, there's a lot of variables. Intimate abuse, intimate partner abuse and violence is just, it's really just kind of, it's just crazy. It's so crazy. And it's case by case. Everybody's different. Everybody's tolerance is different. Everybody's needs are different. Us from the outside looking in, we can't judge. We can't jump to conclusions. But if somebody does come to us and they're sharing information like Susan is sharing with all these people, we can let them know, hey, look, I'm here for you. If you need support, guidance, direction, I'm here for you. You let me know. And I think that's the best way that we can help them. And when they're ready to get out, they'll reach out, and then we could be like, yep, I know this person, I know this victim advocate, they can help you with this, or I know this private investigator, they can help you with this. You need a place to stay, I got a place for you to stay here. We can help people that want out to come to us. So just kind of keep that in mind. National Domestic Violence, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is always a good resource. Outside of that, every state, city, county, government has a victim advocacy program. So you can always contact them for support. Obviously, clearly, if it's an emergency, call 911. It's always good. If there is violence going on in the home and you're in this home, you're in the environment, you're the one being victimized, call the cops, call 911 and always get a case number. Always get a case number. If the cops can't help you and a victim advocate can't help you, maybe a good private investigator can help you, but there's always somebody out there that can help you. All right, that concludes episode 5, and I appreciate y'all for listening, tuning in. I hope the information I shared with you was helpful and was entertaining, at least to a degree. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. At the end of the day, man, my goal is just to try to bring awareness, to share the voices of, in this particular episode, in this season, Susan's voice. Let's learn from their experiences because they gave the ultimate sacrifice. They're not with us anymore, but we can share their story so that others can learn and we can help them. So, and together we can do that. I can't do it all by myself. I am a private investigator. I love to help people. That's why I'm a private investigator. And so if you've got somebody in the state of Utah that needs some help, please call and we can look into it. If you're outside of the state of Utah, I can consult. If you need, but let's share and help, be aware, comment, have a good one, be safe. Thank you and goodbye.